and on. The endless passes round the backing track went. Hey folks, Nick Jennison, it's the Monday Guitar Show. Hey, thanks for joining us. It's great to have you here. If I look like I've been dragged backwards through a hedge, it's because it is tipping down with rain here outside my studio. And when I went to get some food, just before we rolled cameras, I got caught in it. So I am like a drowned rat today, if you want to use a turn of phrase. Certainly feels that way. So yeah, if I'm looking a little bit disheveled, that'll be why. I got absolutely soaked, but it was worth it for some delicious food. It's Monday. We're doing the thing that we do on Mondays, which is hang out and talk about the guitar. Today's stream is, of course, brought to you by Lick Library, Guitar Interactive Magazine. Go to licklibrary.com for lessons of every stripe, every ability level, style, conceivable subject that you can possibly imagine. We've got them. We've got everything from guided practice sessions through to full-blown shred technique courses, all the way through to beginner stuff. If you're a brand new guitar player, we've got lessons for you. Also, don't forget, we have more than 60 classic albums done start to finish. It's a humongous amount of work that's gone into making these. Everything from Led Zeppelin to Van Halen, Fleetwood Mac, you name it. If you want note for note tuition and not just tab, that is usually wrong and gives you kind of half the picture, then, you know, I always feel like tab is a little bit like reading the script for a movie, as opposed to going and watching the movie, if that makes sense. So, you know, you kind of miss a little something in the inflection. Doesn't matter how good the stage directions are, you miss a little something. You might end up like that scene where Kevin Sorbo in Hercules reads the stage directions and goes, "This isn't my time, disappointed," and all that sort of stuff. I won't do the Kevin Sorbo impression too loudly, but it's a scene worth checking out if you haven't done so already. It'll enliven your day, as it frequently enlivens mine. If you're new here, hey, welcome on board. If you're a returning streamer, welcome back. It's great to have you. Today, we are concluding our little subject on recording or arranging guitar for recording the way that the pros do it, in the fashion of the pros. So, today, we're bringing things to a round circular finish with some solos. Specifically, we're going to talk about composing solos. And that intro jam that you were listening to just there is an example of what we are not going to do today, which is to improvise and have a thoroughly lovely time and just make a load of fun guitar noises. No, we're going to focus our attention onto creating something that we can consider an artistically cogent piece of work. Something that we can lay our hat on and go, yes, this is a solo I'm proud of. And I'm going to talk you through the process of creating such a thing as we go on with our stream today. But before we do, let's say some hellos. Let's check in with the stream, see how you guys are getting on. Marcine is first through the door, followed closely by PJ and Response Audio. Timothy Appling as well. Foghornish in with the requests. Now, if you have requests for the sort of stuff that you'd like us to cover in these streams, be sure to drop that down below. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to know what it is that you guys want to work on. If you want something like this, like Foghornish is saying, for some Hendrix style rhythm playing and a cage system, that's something I'd be interested in doing. So maybe we will get that on the go. We've got some plans for how the streams are going to shake out for the rest of the year, but it's definitely something that we can look into. I think it's a cool idea. I'm very much into that idea. Larry Warren is in the house. Larry, it's great to see you. He says, I've really enjoyed this series. I've really enjoyed this series too, right? I've really enjoyed putting this together because it's a topic that doesn't get talked about very much. And I myself like to cover the topics that people don't talk about so much because it's a bit of a challenge, you know, it's something fun and interesting for me. So yes, it's been a lot of fun. I'm glad you've enjoyed it. Kim is in the house. Kim, it's great to see you. I'm going to see Kim tomorrow. We're down shooting some reviews for Guitar Interactive Magazine. Back later on in the month shooting some lessons. Oh, early next month in fact, shooting some lessons for Lick Library. It's all going on. Helmet Strap says, hi Nick, evening all, this is a session I really need. It's a session I really need too, man. I found myself in improvisatory hell lately where I've just been playing what I can only describe as noodly nonsense. I won't swear, but you can fill in the swear word of your choice. Yeah, just kind of noodly stuff that I've not been that into lately, so it's something that's been on my mind too, and it's definitely something we can all stand to look at. Who else do we have? Cranker Tom is in the house, says, hi fellow followers, greetings from Germany, hope all is well, great topic tonight. Hey, great, good to see you. We're going to be in Germany later this month. I'm going to be flying out to Guitar Summit with a couple of the Lick Library guys. Kim's coming, Stu Shields is coming. It's going to be a good time. We're going to go and chat to some guitar players, point at some guitars, and hopefully try not to come back with any new ones. We'll see. But anyway, you know, maybe that'll be later. Maybe we'll buy them and they can ship them to us. Mark McNish says, hello all. Hi Nick. Excellent timing as usual for a topic I can dig into. I've been trying to break out of the boxes and sound more interesting. Well, hopefully this is going to help with you, my man. Citizen741X is in the house. Block 18's here. Web, doing good, man. I'm having a good time. Ergo Hog is here, getting ready to write solos like a boss. Sacred Godslayer's here. 5 Gomads here. Timothy Appling's ready for some appallingly great solos. That's an in-joke I'll tell you guys about later. Peter Harper's here. Marcin says the Red PRS is back. The Red PRS is indeed back. This is the high-gain soloing machine of choice because it just howls. Lucian is in the house. Mark Crandall is in the house. My friend Nick Harrison's tuning in. Nick, it's great to see you. Dylan Jessup is here. Eric Warrington. Raphael, haven't quite got to the bottom of that yet. Darren Wall is in the house. My good man Darren from just round the corner, just about an hour away from here. Sam Junior Music is in the house. Who else do we have? Anybody else we've got? Here we go. Citizen741 says, hi Nick, made it on time this week. Is that backing track on Lick Library? It's not, because we've been recording this over the course of the last couple of weeks. This is something we made on stream. I'm not going to be able to make this one available to you guys because the drums are from a project that I recorded for a band. So I guess I could reprogram the drums and we could make something very similar, but I can't use these drums because they belong to somebody else. I can use them on these streams, but I can't give them to you, unfortunately. But maybe we will make this a track that we can make available on Lick Library. Maybe I'll flesh this out and put some programmed drums in. If that's something you guys are into, then we can certainly make it happen. Anyway, let's get into the meat of today's stream. So, first things first, composing solos versus improvising solos. We're going to begin with a brief discussion of why you would compose and when you would compose, as opposed to just improvising. Now, this leads us to a broader discussion on improvisation, which we'll get to as well, because to my mind, there are two kinds of improvisation. There is improvising in the sense of playing something spontaneous because, you know, it's fun and it's a cool thing to do, and you're having a laugh, maybe you're, you know, playing with some of the musicians and bouncing off each other and all that sort of deal. And that is great fun. That's very, very cool. Even if you're just jamming along to a backing track, that's great fun. However, to my mind, I guess you could probably call that jamming rather than improvising, because improvising carries with it a connotation. And the connotation, in my mind, is that you're trying to improvise music. You're trying to create something on the fly. So improvising is, when it's done right, right's not the word, but when it's done with that intention, it's more like real-time composing rather than improvising. But even still, there are times when an improvised solo just won't do. And these times are usually when you want to make an artistic statement. So, for example, I am a big proponent of improvising solos, especially live. I like to... I just enjoy doing it, if I'm being completely honest. I'm quite selfish about this, and I just kind of enjoy improvising solos. I like to have space just to go, this is the noodle spot. This is where I get to just kind of go off on one. And I think it's fun for an audience, provided you do it, you know, with a reasonable degree of musical intent. But when I sat down to record the Blitzkrieg album, for example, I composed all of the solos. So all of the solos are very tightly arranged with... I'm saying all of them. There's one or two that I didn't. So, for example, there's a song called The Spider where we actually kept an improvisation. So the improvisation in this case was there was a wah. I can't actually reach. Can I reach my wah? Maybe. Not quite. I'm gonna fall over if I try and reach my wah. Fall off my chair. But there's a solo that goes something along the lines of. It's a very short little solo. That was an improvisation. And the reason I say it's an improvisation is because I actually recorded that at the end of the session where I was tracking the rhythm guitars. And I had it in my head I was going to use a wah. And I was like, right, just put something down to remind yourself to use a wah. So I clicked the wah on, played that take, and then listened back and I'm like, wow, that's the take. That's the take for the album. That almost never happens. The solo that followed, for example, which I shall play a cappella, but even still, is this. So on and so forth. Now, that is an example of a composed solo. Even though it might sound like just a blur of notes, there is some compositional intent going on there. Some other examples of the composed solos on the album are things like the solos from You Won't Take Me Alive, where it's a harmony solo. The reason I chose to do this is I wanted to take my time and make sure I could come up with something that was something of a little musical journey in and amongst itself, right? A little musical journey within the song. Something that's not just a spot where the guitarist shows off, but a spot where it's like, oh, this is part of a song. This is an integral part of what's going on musically. And we can think of a few solos that are like that. So examples of this might include things like the solo from I mean, everybody wants to say the solos from Comfortably Numb, for obvious reasons. But examples might be something like the solo from Stairway to Heaven, which I always think of as a really great example of a solo that is integral to the song. You can't really have Stairway without the solo, and you can't play Stairway without playing the solo as it is. You know, it's no bueno. You're not allowed to improvise on the Stairway solo. You must play Stairway exactly as it stands. And this is a good mark of a solo that I think could potentially be a good example of a composed solo, where it's a solo that is so well put together that you can't possibly imagine playing something else over the top. If we took another Led Zeppelin song with a great solo, for example, if we take Good Times, Bad Times, right? If I go and see a guitar player and the guitar player improvises a solo over Good Times, Bad Times, fine, it's cool, right? The solo from Good Times, Bad Times is great. Black Dog, right? The solo from Black Dog is really good. You can improvise over Black Dog. You're allowed. You are not allowed to improvise over Comfortably Numb. You are not allowed to improvise over Stairway. Here's another great one from Sacred Godslayer, Tornado of Souls. Absolutely, you are not allowed to improvise over Tornado of Souls. Another really fine example that always puts me in mind of Tornado of Souls is the Final Countdown. Right? The Final Countdown is a great solo, right? Definitely worth your time to learn. Now, it is a bit of a pain to play, but it's this. That's the one. Now that in itself is a solo that is most certainly composed because it exhibits one of the key qualities of composing a solo, which is repetition. There's a theme in there. Other examples, probably the most composed solo that I can think of that may not even have been composed, but it sounds composed, and if we were going to come up with something like this, you and I mortals, we'd need to compose something like this, is the solo from All Right Now. What a great solo, but it's 100% sounds composed. It sounds like something that has been refined over time. And again, you are not permitted to improvise over All Right Now. You've got to play All Right Now as it is, right? You can improvise over the Hunter, that's fine. But you're not allowed to improvise over All Right Now. It's against the rules. It is verboten, as the Germans say, I want to say. So let's get into how we might compose a solo. So we've gone into why, and the why is that we want to make a lasting musical statement that people will consider part of the song. Here's a great one from Citizen741. Says, I've always wanted to learn Countdown. It's one of those solos that made me want to learn the guitar when I was a kid. It's such a great solo. Sam Junior Music says, you seem to recall this kind of solo so effortlessly. How do you do that? Well, that's a big question in itself, I guess, actually. The question about learning music and recalling music. But the thrust of that is that I'm able to kind of think about the... I guess you might call it I'm able to visualize this as the theory, let's say. I'm able to imagine, oh, well, it's this rhythm on this B minor arpeggio. I know it's in the key of B, and it starts with a tonic arpeggio, then it moves to C sharp diminished, then it moves to D major down here. So having a grasp of theory really helps with this, I guess. It is a very good question. I'm going to need to think more about that and how I can possibly explain that, because it's definitely something that I'm aware of. But I think having a solid understanding of theory and an ability to translate that onto the fretboard is a big part of it. So here's one from Sam Jr. as well. It says, example of the final countdown solo. How do you recall your mind? Oh, it's the same question. Same question. So we'll get to that. I guess I'll probably come back to that at some point. We've got a question about the PRS. What PRS model is that? It sounds awesome. Also, what are you running through? We're going to answer this question now, because before we get into composing solos. So this is a PRS Custom 22. It is from 2002. It is, yeah, 2002 PRS Custom 22, which I've changed the wiring on because it had the rotary. The rotary sucks. Do not like the rotary. It's a great guitar. It's got stainless steel frets in it, huge ones, which Paul Reed Smith has played and liked. That's fine. And the pickups are a set of Bulldog pickups. We don't know what they are. Otherwise, we'd make more of them, but we're not sure what they are. I asked Hayden, the man behind Bulldog Pickups, to do me something cool, and you know, what he came back with was very cool. But then ultimately, you know, we couldn't then figure out what it was, so we don't know. But it's a set of Bulldog pickups, and they're cool. I'm sure he's got records somewhere where he'll know what it is, and he'll be able to tell you exactly all that sort of stuff. But I don't know what it is. Otherwise, we'd make more of them. Running through. Victory Super Kraken Impulse is a Celestian Redback, if I'm not mistaken. Lots of fun. Strings are a little too light. The strings were set at 9s. They're feeling a little clumsy right now. I'm making them move back to 10s in anticipation for playing lots of other people's guitars. And now this feels very light. But a cool question, man. So we got another great one from Response Audio. He says, some guitarists, when playing composed solos in a live context, managed to make it sound really spontaneous and alive, as if it was an improvisation. Others sound like they're playing back the notes. It can come across a little flat in the delivery. This is huge, and I'm going to star this up. That is probably the best observation of the night so far, and we're going to get back to that. So here's another one. Sam Jr. says, you mean you can recall it in some ways like you do chord structures? Yeah, basically that's it. You can recall it in the way that a singer can recall lyrics and melodies, or we can recall a chord structure just as a thing. You recall it as, oh, D, C, G, B, etc. Whatever. I'm able to recall it that way because I've studied enough to be able to do that. It's not some genius trick. It's just the product of study, essentially, which is not a very glamorous thing to say, but that's basically the gist of it. So anyway, let's get down to the, here's one. In my opinion, that one can change a note on a famous solo only if he's able to play the original one. Then it's a choice, otherwise it's a shortcut. That's interesting. But we'll never know. We'll never know if it's a choice or a shortcut, because you ask a player, was that a choice or was it a shortcut? They'll probably go, yeah, I meant to do that. I meant to do that. Or maybe they'll go, oh, it was a shortcut, but actually they meant to do it. Who knows? We'll never know these things. But yeah, I like that intention. I like that an awful lot. Anyway, so Nick Harrison's saying it's only okay to wear your own band t-shirt if you're Iron Maiden. For sure, I'm wearing a t-shirt of a festival I played. Does that count? Anyway, it was a cool festival, though. I enjoyed it. It's a little small. They promised me this was an extra large, and I don't know if people in Spain are just smaller than I am or what, but I don't think so. Anyway, so let's get into how we might compose solos and take some inspiration. We're going to use our track that we were using for the last couple of examples, because we've waffled on enough. We want to get on with the actual substance. So first thing we might do, if we're coming to a solo chord, let's say we're presented with a track. To refresh your memory, our track goes something like this. It's A minor, Fs, Ds. And then once again, A minor, F, then D. We're going to assume we get this whole verse, and then we'll get this chorus too, the chorus being F, G, then A minor. If you follow the last few streams, you'll remember these. They're a lot of fun, nice easy changes. And then we get, once again, F to D, F to G. All fairly straightforward stuff, and we can compose something, I'm sure, fairly interesting over that. Now, the first thing that I'll do when I'm playing this, if I'm trying to create something, is I will improvise for a while. But I'm going to improvise with a slightly different intent than just to improvise, you know, just for the sake of having the fun of it. What I'm looking for here is I'm looking for things in the track that might stand out as a little in for me, something that I can do. Is the rhythm in drop D, says our friend Citizen741. The rhythm is indeed in drop D, because we've got low D on there, so it is indeed in drop D. So what I might look for here is I might look for something that I can potentially latch onto as a musical idea that I can use to build my solo around. It might be something melodic, it might be something rhythmic, and I think there's something rhythmic here that I can play with. If we have a listen to what the bass is doing, the bass is going, it's got this ba 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 ba. So if I solo up just the first half of this solo section, which is just the bass and the drums, and then it goes back round, I could play now this is not a very compelling solo at this point, but that's okay. I could play something with that rhythm, and I could use that rhythm as the basis for some improvisation. So I could play something that maybe might run along with this. That might go, I like that idea of keeping the rhythm but changing pitches. That works, that's a fun little invention. So I'm going to go back to there. That works. Now I really like that. Now, there's a little songwriting rule that we're going to apply here. And it's not a rule, it's a guideline, but it's a songwriting guideline. It's a guideline that is, it says 3 is enough. 3 is enough. If we're repeating things, we can generally get away with repeating things 3 times before we have to change something. Unless it's, you know, A, O, let's go. And then we can repeat that as many times as we want. But if it's a melodic device or it's a series of chords, 3 times is normally enough, and then we maybe want a little bit of a variation. So what I might do with my variation is I could play something that escalates the energy, or I could play something that, you know, keeps the energy where it's at, or I can de-escalate the energy. But I really like this little theme I've got where I'm playing. That was nice. So we've got that rhythm. Another thing we've got going on here is this. This first phrase. That is the same as my third phrase, but it's down an octave. Now that's something that I've just kind of come to iteratively. So what I've done there is I've had an idea in my mind. I've gone, I'm going to try and catch this rhythm. Try and catch this ba 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 ba. Try and catch that bass rhythm, and I like that a lot. And I started playing around with just improvising, playing that rhythm, and I decided I really like this. I didn't really give it too much thought about what I was playing, but looking back, I like it because we're hitting the third. Going to the tonic of our chord. Over the F, we've got a little bit of non-chord tone stuff as we play the 6th of F. That's not the 6th of F, what is that? That is the 9th of F, the 6th, and then the major 7th. And then this guy down here, with my D, is the flat 7, 6, 5. But we're not worried about that because it's the same as that one there. That works really well. I like that. So let's play that and see if we like the way it sounds. So I can start it. I go. And that's pretty sweet. I like that a lot. And that fits with the could you sing it business. Because that's another thing. If we can sing it and it's going to be stuck in our head, we're winning. So I'm imagining you guys can probably sing that along with me. You could probably, if you so desired, you could sing that in your head. It would probably make sense, right? So we need to work out what we're going to do at the end, but I'm probably not going to play the same rhythm again. I'll probably play something different. So maybe I'll just play... That worked quite well for me. Or I might just hang on that note. I may stop. I may just play nothing in anticipation for the next phrase. And we haven't gotten to phrasing yet, but we're in anticipation for the next phrase. I think that sounds pretty good. I could probably stop that there. There's enough time just to go whoop, and away we go. So I like that. And then what I might do from this is, there's a few places we can go with this. We could repeat. We could play something that is a repetition of what we just played. We could repeat and vary. So we could play something that maybe has the same core idea, but perhaps maybe we'll transpose some of it, or we'll move some of it around. So let's go back to the two cams. What do we have? So our first one, if we go... That would actually work pretty well. So that's basically the same idea, but up an octave. So that's fun. Now we can take some liberties on how we get there, because we've already implanted this little musical thought in the listener's brain, so we can take a few liberties about how we get to this. So that might be a good time to maybe throw in a little bit of flash. So maybe we don't want to go crazy, but maybe we'll play. Yeah, that'll work. We don't have to play something flash. But what I'm trying to hit here is this idea that I've already played. I'm just moving it into a new octave. It's a variation that we might call registration, where we take the same idea, we move into different octaves, it has a different effect. So we play this. That's already sounding pretty cogent. It sounded like something we could probably remember, right? And if I played this on somebody else's song, or somebody played it on a song I was producing, I wouldn't be unhappy with that. That's something where you go, okay, it's got a bit of flash, bit of energy. I'm going to play it this way around, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put something on the end, and then we'll flip these ideas and see if we like them better the way we've got them, or a different way around. Now what we could do, once we've done this, is we could play, again, the same melodic idea. But I think by this point, we're probably a little bored of that. Well, maybe not bored, but we've heard it enough where we go, oh, I know what's coming. So what I might do here is I might take this as an opportunity to inject some guitarism. Because we are playing a guitar solo after all. It's not a vocal line, it is a guitar solo. So maybe after we've done this... And I feel like I want it to go up. Now, the reason I might want it to go up is because we've just set this precedent that we're going up in pitch. So maybe I'll go... call on one of my little stock blues licks. And that's quite good fun. So now we've got... That's really good fun. I like that. That sounds very solo-y. We've got a question about where did the faster flurry come from? Is it just a run up the scale to the same note? That's exactly what it is. I'm targeting this note and just finding a fun way to get there. Now, there are lots of ways you can get there. I chose this one, which is literally just a run up the A minor scale. So I'm playing from E to F to G, A, B, C, D, E, F, with my target note being G. However, could play all sorts of crazy stuff if we wanted to get there. Examples of probably some badly chosen ones were if we decided to go like up and then come back down over. So we could go maybe. As fun as that is, that kind of disrupts the flow of what we've got going here. Yeah. Now that's a cool line, but that really disrupts things. We've got a question. You had to have been here for the last 2 weeks because we wrote the rhythm together over the last couple of weeks. That's basically what it was. Sorry, man. You have to go back and watch them. Anyway, so yeah, that in itself... as much fun as that lick is, it's probably inappropriate at this point. So, let's take a look at what we've already got with my little blues lick on the end, and we'll see if we like it, right? So we've got this business of... and then we can go... play some blues guff there. If you want blues guff, is fine, because that in itself is just a little moment where the drums are filling and we just want some intensity in the guitar. Now, here's what happens if I play it backwards. If I play the intense stuff to start with, and then we come back down. Just pay attention to what's going on there, and we'll talk about this business here. We've got tension building is good from Ergo Hog, which, you know, you're absolutely right. Now, tension building is not the only way to do this, but that's what we're doing here, and we may talk about why that is, and why we're not hitting peak tension yet, but we'll get there. So, playing in reverse, here we go. Second phrase first. It actually does work. It sounds pretty cool. It does actually work, and it sounds interesting and unpredictable, but notice that that had this sense of the energy being quite high early in the solo and then tailing off. Now that would be very appropriate if what we were about to go into was a section with low energy. So if we were about to go into maybe a breakdown, that would be a very appropriate way of doing that. But because we're about to go into a chorus section where it's lifting, we probably don't want to do it that way around. We probably want to do it with the less tension first and then build the tension into the chorus section. The reason for this is we are mirroring the energy that's in the song. So the energy that's in the song, we have to match this. If the song is giving us high energy, we have to give it high energy back, and that can be in the form of speed, it can be in the form of a register, it can be in the form of gain, for example. This might be a time to kick on that second overdrive pedal. There's all sorts of ways that you can increase the tension at this point. We've chosen to do it with registration. We've chosen to do it by going up and up in pitch, and then maybe we'll throw some good old-fashioned blues nonsense in that little break where we've got a bit of time. We could just hold a note and let it be all stingy and Stevie Ray-ish, or we can play some shreddy blues things, because that feels like a fairly inconsequential part of the solo. It feels like we're kind of waiting for the next bit to happen, and that's okay. At that point, we're just going, here's some energy building chaos. We don't need a melody at this point. Mal Riley with a high order of compliment says you sound like a Satch solo. Well, thank you very much, man. That is very kind. Satch, the master at this stuff, right? The master of blending these guitarisms, let's call them, these guitaristic kind of ways of playing with super melodic stuff and really flashy stuff too. He too has very hairy hands. Maybe it's a hairy hands thing. Anyway, so I don't think it is, because I have a very hairy dome, and poor Satch does not, although he did at one point. Anyway, so let's see where this takes us, right? So we've got our little line. Quite like the little slide off. Now that was a fun thing to throw in there, because we're just about to get into the crazy stuff. So at this point, if we go... and land big hard on that root note. Man, that's a magical thing. So what are we playing there? Well, there I'm playing just some repetitive, speedy lines that are probably like, it's like shred guitar 101. And it was quite fashionable for a period of time for us guys who are into the fast playing thing to dunk on this stuff, to go like, oh, that stuff's really boring, you know, this. But man, let me tell you, right, as somebody who plays in front of hard rock and metal crowds fairly regular, this sort of stuff gets people going. There's something about that circular kind of revving of the engine, almost. That's what it feels like. It feels like revving the engine on a motorbike. It's just going, and it's ready to go. It almost has that sort of effect. You know, if you think about like a drag race, you know, where not RuPaul's Drag Race, but a drag race is in dragsters, where, you know, they kind of rev the engines and then they're out of the starting blocks, right? It's starting blocks? I don't know. I'm mixing my metaphors here. But that has that particular feel about it that I really like. So far we've played a melody. We've played a version of that melody that's something different, and now we've hit this big shreddy section. Now, we haven't been shy about throwing lots of notes into our solo so far, but it's starting to sound pretty good. This is starting to make some kind of musical sense. However, we've got all the way up here, and we also have, man, we got a lot of solo to go yet, because we've got to get all the way through this chorus. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try looking for another melody that might be fun to stick over this, or another device that we might use to play over this. It might be something shreddy, it might not be. It's probably not going to be. Just throwing that out there. It's probably not going to be the shred at this point. But let's just see what comes to us. So we've got a solo. I like the little intro bit that we've got where we play. Missed it. Now already, that was something nice. What a beautiful thing. Right, that's a really pretty line. I'd be happy if somebody came into the studio to track guitars and played that. I'd be like, yeah, okay. I'm into the way that sounds. That's nice. Now, how did I come across that? How did we get to that? Well, this is the product of a lot of practice for me, right? And the practice has been, a large part of it at least, has been trying to get good at taking a little line, a little idea, hearing that line in the moment, and it can be as simple as the beep boo, the first. Now, I was about to go into some pentatonic shred there. Which probably would have been about as sloppy as that was. But I heard this. I'm like, oh, that's nice. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my knowledge of music theory and also my practice at developing these lines, hearing these lines and developing them, to take that and move it sequence-wise through my scale. So I've just hit the equivalent of this with this first. So what I might do next is I might play... I could have played this. I could have moved the bottom note down, but we played this. Move those two notes down from D, C to C, B, and then I'll finish with B, A. Now, I played the same pedal note on the bottom, and then purely out of convenience, because that's awkward to reach, I'll move that one down. That's nice. So what have we got, right? Let's put it all together so far. We have... That's cool, right? That's really cool. And now it needs something to transition us out of that high register. We're going to come back there. We're going to come back there. But how are we going to transition out of that high register? We've just played something there. It's cool. Maybe we'll play something descending. Why descending? Because we've just hit a little mini apex in our solo. We've hit this chorus and we've gone, boom, we're at a high point. But we can't just stay there. We can't just stay there and play in this high point for the whole rest of the solo. It would lose its impact. So what we need to do is we need to back it up and take another little run up and build the intensity back up through the chorus. And how do we do that? Maintaining the intensity on the way down? Well, I think one of the easiest ways to do it is to do some fast stuff on the way down. And what I'm probably going to play is, in my head, I'm hearing some fives. Now, you could play anything you want here, but I'm hearing the Eric Johnson fives thing. It's not so fast that we can't make sense of it, but I'm probably going to play a variation on the fives. So one of my favorites is this, where I play. And I may even slow that variation down at the end. That's nice. I like that. So let's see what this goes like if I play. That's lots of fun. That's really nice, this. Let's just hear what that sounds like itself. I'll show you guys that lick in a second. Probably needs to be faster than that. I might see, can I get 16s? 30 seconds? Might be too fast. Well, that's nice. That's kind of fun, like a 7s. Yeah, that works really well. I like that. I like the way that's going. Now, what's going on here is I'm playing very quickly. You might call it a hybrid pentatonic, but what I'm playing is this box of the A minor scale. I'm playing A, G, F, D, E, D, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. 17, 15, 13, 17, 15, 13, 14, 16, 14, 12, 15, 14, 12, 15, 14, 12. That's the shape, but what I'm doing is I'm playing the Eric Johnson pentatonics rudiment. Which is this fives thing that he plays quite a lot, which is lots of fun. And I'm just choosing 2 notes from each string and applying this pentatonic rudiment to it. So instead of playing these 3 notes, I'm playing this. And then here, instead of playing these 3, or these 3, these 2, these 2, these 2, these 2, that. So we have... Why did I choose that over something like some more blues stuff? Well, we've already had some blues stuff. We've already had that flavour. We've gone, here's a bit of blues stuff. And also the track is quite modern. So we go, well, maybe I need to play something a bit more modern sounding. And that's probably where we'll draw a line under the shred for now, because that's definitely enough shred for the time being. So let's do an update. Where are we? We've got this. I decided I wanted to decorate that space a bit more. Now that we've hit that, Now we've hit that, we're going to look for some inspiration for something else in the track. So we've gone all the way down, we've done a little descending thing, we could continue descending, but what I'm probably going to do at this point is I'm going to start to bring the energy up. I'm going to start to go, let's move up over. And there's a thing in the track that I can take inspiration from. Take a listen to these drums. I'll stop when it's time. Listen to this. I want to hit that. I don't want to hit it rhythmically with the drummer, but I want to make sure I catch that. So what I may do here is I may look for a line that's going to ascend, and I may look for a line that's going to be not shreddy. So what I'm probably not going to do at this point is bust the Yngwie out. Maybe we'll save that. Maybe we'll save that. So we've had... Yeah. Apparently I can't play the Yngwie stuff anymore. Just a little out of practice with it. It's probably enough practice. So I'm probably not going to bust that out just yet. I could. If it was an overtly shreddy solo, I could. But it's probably going to lose people at that point. So what I'll probably do instead is I'm going to reach for a good old-fashioned pop rock trope. Because we're kind of playing pop rock. I'm going to play some octaves. Octaves are great fun, right? Why octaves? Well, I could play a melody, but everything we've played so far has been single notes, right? And we can bring some flavor by playing some octaves. So what I might do is I might try and play something, maybe up my A minor scale. I'm going to see what that chord is we're about to land on. D. So I may try and catch that just on the tonic. So maybe I might go something like this. That's where I want to end up. Oh, actually, I could catch the third. I could play. That's fun. That's really fun. Really simple. So we can go... let's find the shreddy section. Oh yeah, that's great. I really like that. Now, if that's a little bit too shining down for you, which maybe it is, we can do some other things. We could play... single melodies. Maybe with a little pedal underneath. That might even be cooler. Maybe I'll play that instead of the octaves. So we'll find out. So if I go... I think let's vote. Let's vote. Let's vote on it. You guys can decide. Do you like the octaves? Do you like the little pedally melody we've got here? Let's see. Let's just compare, right? So here's the shreddy thing. Octaves. We'll follow that up with something else. Here it is without the octaves. Lots of votes for the octaves, but here we go. So there's the pedaling. There's the pedaling. We've got lots of votes for legato. Lots of votes for the octaves. I kind of like the octaves. Now, in themselves, this is an interesting thing, right? In and of themselves, I think the little pedal sliding idea is a cooler idea. But I think in context, the octaves are really strong because the octaves have this big sense of like of energy building because we've made such a big thick sound on the guitar and we've caught that, and then you guys have got some points there. Now legato, says Mal Riley. Citizen says octave followed by a fast run out. I agree. So we've hit this. We want to get up somewhere nice and apexy for the very top of the solo, right at the end, where we might get, what have we just played? So maybe we can start the shred at the end of the octave. So it's octaves are coming up here, we go. That's fun, but it might be a bit too similar to what we've already had. So maybe we will just bring, because we're right at the top of the solo, maybe we'll just bring the big shred at this point. So that's something we could do. Maybe we'll just bring the Paul Gilbert thing. So here I'm playing some kind of sequence around D mixed Lydian, or in this case, A Dorian, however you want to frame it, starting in and around. It's very Brian May, but like fast. It's like Brian May on hyperspeed. So what do we've had? We've had that started too soon. So let's go once again. Now there I feel like I want to reiterate the little melody on the end. So we've gone up to here. I definitely want to finish on that melody. I definitely want to finish on that melody. Definitely want to finish that melody. That is money, right? So yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I like that. Now, what's going on here? I'm just composing this in real time. Let's hit these octaves and we'll see what we get coming out. We're gonna hit I didn't get the melody right there. Let's get the phrase right. Oh, that's fun. I like that. I'm playing this the most awkward possible way, but let me show you what's going on here. So we've got to run all the way up to the top. And then what I want to play is I want to play this. But because we're playing rock music, I'm going to just bend all sorts of weird and wonderful ways to get there. Yeah, that's really good fun. Now, interestingly enough, that little melody that we played there, it's the same melody, but it's now rhythmically in a different spot because the C was on the downbeat the first time we played it. But now up here, we're landing that on the downbeat. So it is a reiteration of the melody, but it's a reiteration of the melody that's rhythmically different. Let's see what's going on with this little shred section. Let's see if I can actually play this stuff. Let's figure it out. That's nice. That works. It's a little scrappy in terms of the timing. I'll refine that as we go. But let's take a listen to a whole solo. Oh, I really like that. I think that sounds really great. Now, let's talk about the little choice that we made at the end. You guys saying nice choice ending on the melody again. I think so. I think it legitimizes all that silly shred that we did. And it just kind of bookends it and goes, here's the tag at the end of the chorus. Think about this the way singers will often do this. The singers or songwriters writing choruses will often put a tag at the end of a chorus. So, you know, I'm trying to think of a really great example. A probably very good example is the Shania Twain song, Man, I Feel Like a Woman, right? Because it came up in a reel recently, and it was Shania talking about Mutt Lange writing the song with it. And that spot where she stops and she says the tag of the song, Man, I Feel Like a Woman, at the end of the chorus, that's a really great place to put a tag like that. But we can all think of songs that have that thing going on. Tag at the end of the chorus. We've effectively done the same thing. Now, why did we choose to go down in melody there? Why did we choose to go down in terms of the trajectory of our solo? Because we could have gone up, we could have kept going. But we're paying some attention to where the song is going here. The song is not carrying on into another chorus. If it did, if it looped into another chorus, I probably wouldn't have gone down with the solo at the end. I probably would have gone up. So if we take it from the shreddy section real quick, I'll show you what's going on here. If I loop into another chorus. So we go... yeah, I probably would have actually stayed shredding there for a bit longer because the song is carrying on with some big energy at that point. But because our song is going down in energy, it's going back down to a re-intro. That's probably where I personally would choose just to go, okay, oh, there's two of me, several of me, too many of me. One is too many. That's where I've chosen to kind of like move things down over, if that makes sense. And just like ending a solo on time, we have made it to the hour mark. Folks, that's been a long discussion on how to compose solos, and this is but one way of doing it, right? There are lots of other ways you can approach this. But hopefully what you've taken from this are a series of principles that we can distill for you right now. The first one is to compose with intent. Compose with the idea of creating something that is of lasting musical value, right? You're trying to create something that is going to be a part of a song. And you go in with that mindset. Now, this solo is not a solo to rival Bohemian Rhapsody. It's a fun solo. I would be proud of it if I put it on a record. But whether I would consider it a masterpiece, probably not, right? How to Remember It says Mal Riley play it over and over and over again. But that's one thing, right? The other thing with this as well is to take inspiration from the track in terms of your initial ideas, creating melodies, and then taking little variations from melodies. Take these ideas and run with them and turn them into other things, right? From there, we also respect the movement of the track. We respect whether the track is going up, the track is coming down, and we structure our solo thusly. We follow the energy of the track. We create little mini apexes, but we don't stay in any place too long. We don't outstay our welcome. So, for example, when we got up to that high end, we didn't just keep shredding away, right? We found some fun things we could play, and then we pulled out. Question from Black Robuska, by the way, saying what backing track we're using. We wrote this backing track together. We played this backing track together over the last 2 streams. If you want to see us putting them together, go check out our previous 2 streams, right? This track is available on the streams. I probably will redo the drums, and then it's a new track. I don't want to use Sav's drums for this because they're from another song. They're from a song that's about to be released. I won't tell you what song it is, but when that song's out, I can't use these drums for this stuff anymore. So, because it doesn't belong to me. But I can use it for the stream now, and I won't tell you any more about that. Yeah, other things with this as well is to employ the speed sparingly to create contrast between the speed and the crazy stuff. Choose the speed. Choose the type of fast stuff you're going to play based on the effect you want. So if you want just some guitar-y stuff, hit them blues lines, right? Hit the Gary Moore licks. Whereas if you want something a little bit more modern sounding, that's where we reach for the things like the Marty Friedman type passage that we just played, or whoever you want to take it from, the Hirajoshi. It is Hirajoshi, by the way, in case you guys are wondering. Although functionally it's Lydian pentatonic. No, it's not. I lie. It's over A minor, so it is. It's Lydian pentatonic, but it's functionally Hirajoshi. I had it the wrong way around. So yes, it is Hirajoshi. Word that I can't say. Like many other Japanese words, can't say in my accent. It sounds ridiculous. I'm quite good at pronouncing things like Jotun, which is the name of that amp, and not Jotun. But yeah, Japanese stuff can't do. Kawasaki, forget it. Suzuki, even worse. I had to force the K in there and not just say Suzuki. Terrible. So yeah, can't say that in my accent. Anyway, there's some points that you guys can take for crafting some solos. We had some great questions. I'm just going to very quickly see if there are any that I can just pull up here. I don't think I can, but I will address this question about how you were able to recall solos quickly. We'll address that in another stream. I'll have to rack my little brain about that and see how I can teach that in a cogent manner. I'm just absolutely desperate to wash my hair as well because I got so soaked and now it's just turned into straw, but that's neither here nor there. I'm probably going to go and do that now. So folks, to finish up, I'm going to play us out on the solo that we just crafted, and then we'll run out on some nonsense after that. We'll just play some El Shreddo after our solo is done, because why not? Folks, my name's Nick Jennison. Don't forget, you can check out the sponsored courses that are linked down below. If you want more on this stuff, a really great place to go get it is my Ultimate Guide to Melody and Phrasing, which is linked down below. We also have a course on transforming or playing with arpeggios. That's also linked down below. If you're not already, go to licklibrary.com, check out a membership where you can get as many lessons as your heart desires. We'll turn you into the guitar player you've always wanted to be. If you want news, reviews, interviews, gear, all of that other stuff, go to guitarinteractivemagazine.com. And Marl Riley's right. Yep, you must write a solo. Everybody must write a solo for next week. Compose your solos. I'll be marking your homework next week. We've got a guest coming on the stream next week. I can't tell you who it is, but it's going to be a lot of fun. I will see you guys next week. If everybody's going to be at Guitar Summit in Mannheim over the weekend, be sure to come and say hello. I would love to meet you. We'll get some photographs together. We may arm wrestle. Depends how strong you are. I don't want to lose. But you never know. I mean, I'm only joking about the arm wrestling bit, but I'm not joking about the photographs. I would love to come and meet you. My name's Nick Jennison. I will see you guys next time around. Let's play our solo one more time. Far too much fun. I'm going to jam over this track for a little bit longer, but off camera. My name's Nick Jennison. See you guys next week. Hi, my name's Nick Jennison, and it's my pleasure to announce that GI Plus, the exclusive lesson platform from Guitar Interactive Magazine, is moving to licklibrary.com. GI Plus features a whole host of the best players and educators in the world, bringing you exclusive lessons on everything from metal to blues to fusion and everything in between. Want to level up your shred chops? Check out How to Play Fast by Andy James. Or how about Sweep Picking with Rick Graham? Or maybe country's more your bag? Well, how about a full-length country guitar course from Andy Wood? Interested in learning how to play over changes? Well, members get access to hours of exclusive lessons from fusion maestro Tom Quayle. Or maybe you want your playing to sound more soulful? Well, who better than Chris Buck to show you how it's done? Members also get access to every lesson ever published in Guitar Interactive Magazine, including Michael Caswell's legendary Pro Concepts column. Or maybe you want to learn the secrets of the masters. Well, members get access to over 70 full-length tech sessions where our tutors painstakingly decode the styles of players like David Gilmour, Eddie Van Halen, John Petrucci, Larry Carlton, Slash, Tosin Abasi, Paul Gilbert, and many more. And you get all of this in addition to all of the amazing content on licklibrary.com, which includes note-for-note tuition of over 60 classic albums, weekly lesson uploads, a backing track library, and one-to-one player support. There has never been a better time to sign up than right now.